It was supposed to be just another day in class, but when Jamal walked in, his steps slowed. His seat, his assigned seat, was already taken. A man he'd never seen before lounged there, arms crossed, eyes cold. The smirk said everything. "You don't belong here." The teacher glanced up, froze, then looked away. No one spoke, but the air was thick with something unspoken, something ugly. Jamal didn't argue, didn't raise his voice. He stood, waiting. What the man didn't know was that he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Jamal wasn't new to being underestimated. A top student with scholarship offers lined up, he had worked harder than most to get here. In a university filled with history and tradition, he carried himself with quiet pride, knowing the road to his desk had been paved with late nights, sacrifices, and unshakable discipline. That seat wasn't just a piece of furniture, it was his place in a classroom where he'd earned respect. Every morning he arrived early, organized his books, and prepared for the lecture. But this day was different. As he entered, the chatter died down. All eyes flicked toward the back of the room, then toward him. There, in his seat, sat a stranger, a man in his 30s, unshaven, leaning back as if daring anyone to challenge. Him. Jamal could feel the stares, the tension rising like a slow-building storm. Something was about to break. Jamal's steps echoed as he walked toward his seat. The man didn't move, didn't acknowledge him, just stared straight ahead, jaw tight. The smirk deepened, as if he found the silence amusing. The professor glanced at the scene, then quickly began shuffling papers, pretending not to notice. A few students exchanged nervous glances. Others whispered behind cupped hands. The unspoken truth was clear. This wasn't just about a chair. Jamal stopped beside the desk. The man's hand rested flat on the surface, fingers tapping slowly. It was a gesture of ownership, a silent warning. This is mine now. Jamal's pulse quickened, but his face stayed calm. Minutes ticked by, the lecture halting before it could start. Someone coughed. A phone buzzed. Still, the man refused to move. Jamal thought of all the times he'd been told to just ignore it, to keep his head down. But this wasn't a hallway slur or an online comment. This was a public challenge, a deliberate act meant to strip him of dignity. And yet, Jamal stayed silent, because he knew something the man didn't. In just a few minutes, the power in this room would shift completely. He reached into his bag, not for a phone, not for a book, but for a folder marked with the university's seal. When he opened it, the rustle of paper made the man glance up for the first time. Jamal's expression didn't change. The trap had already been set. The professor's voice finally broke the silence. "Jamal, is there a problem?" Jamal stepped forward and placed the folder on the desk in front of the man. Inside was an official appointment letter, one that named Jamal as the new student liaison for the department. His duties included enforcing classroom policies, including seating arrangements, attendance, and code of conduct. The man's smirk faltered. His eyes darted from the letter to Jamal, then to the professor. "This is my seat," Jamal said evenly, "and you violate policy." The weight of the room shifted. Whispers grew louder, phones tilted to capture the moment. The professor cleared his throat, suddenly attentive. The man stood up slowly, his bravado draining with each step toward the door. The challenge was over. Jamal sat down, his hands steady, his focus already turning to the lecture ahead. But the lesson wasn't just for him, it was for everyone who had watched in silence. Respect isn't given to you by those who doubt you. It's claimed by standing firm in your worth. The man, left with no parting words, just the heavy silence of someone forced to face the consequences of his actions. For Jamal, It was another reminder that prejudice thrives in shadows, but crumbles under the light of truth. In classrooms, workplaces, and streets, moments like this happen every day, most without witnesses. But when they are seen, when they are confronted, they echo far beyond the room. Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.